Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
Wait, no. Oh, shoot, I just touched the camera. I meant to go fix it. Okay.
We're good? All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this Friday morning for yoga. We are going to start out today with a little bit of meditation. So if you have a straight back chair, go ahead and find that. Bring your bottom all the way back to the back. Good. You're going to start to glue the spine to the back of the chair, relaxing the shoulders. Since we're practicing at home, you can let those bare feet out, wiggle the toes a little bit. Start to notice the four corners of the feet. That we keep those toes lifted and then slowly let them relax back down. Feel that length through the spine. If you feel comfortable, allow the eyes to close. And we'll start to tune into the breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. And again, just staying with that natural breath. Noticing the rise and fall in the chest. Noticing the air passing in and out through the nose. And again, with those eyes closed, just allowing the attention to turn inward. The practice we'll do this morning is a practice in compassion, sort of a widening circle of compassion. And it starts very simply. Again, our breath is still here as our object of meditation. But we're adding to that thoughts of someone that we love. A family member, a child, a spouse, a dear friend. Someone that we care very deeply for. Just taking a moment to think of that person. And then moving from thinking to feeling. Just breathing in the feeling of what that person means to you. As we continue to breathe, imagine breathing in peace and breathing out love, sending it to that person, sharing that. Now beginning to turn your attention gently to someone you know well, maybe a neighbor, maybe a coworker. And begin to feel that person. And begin to breathe in peace and breathe out love. Sending it to that person. And moving those thoughts and those feelings to someone you don't know, but have had interactions with. Perhaps the checker at the grocery store, the postal worker, someone who comes and helps out. Maybe you don't even know their name, but someone that you've interacted with. And again, same technique, breathing in peace some of you may know where this is going. Next, turning your attention to someone who you may not like. You may find irritating. You may find difficult to be with. You may find that they challenge you. That person in your mind, breathe in peace. Breathe out love. And coming around in our final circle, placing one hand over the heart and the other hand on top of that, returning to ourselves and just feeling what we're feeling, what comes up for us, the entire range of emotions. And breathe in peace and breathe out love. And when you're ready, allowing the hands to float down to the legs, allowing the eyes to open. Just taking a moment to sit with that. And again, our widening circle of compassion, just showing that ourselves included, we all need this gentleness, we all need this practice. All right, we will start today by rubbing the palms of the hands together, creating some heat, or you can take those hands on the legs, create some warmth there, particularly if you have achy joints in the fingertips. Giving them a little bit of warmth, a little bit of pressure can help with that. Good. When you're ready, taking those hands and placing them on a part of the body that needs a little extra attention, or maybe over the sockets of the eyes. And gently relaxing the hands back down to the thighs. Good. And then just as we did in our last class, taking a moment to turn the attention to the abdominal muscles. Particularly in our yoga, there's a lot of forward bending, a lot of twisting, and it's important to keep those transverse abdominals engaged. They help us with our posture, and they help us to prevent injury. So as we breathe in, pressing that waistband of the pants back into the back of the chair and scooping those abdominal muscles in, maybe tightening through the pelvic floor. Exhale, relax. Good. Same practice, engaging through the belly, now beginning to press those feet into the floor, feeling the entire lower body engage. Exhale, relax. One more time, this time holding it for the entire in-breath and out-breath. Good. Very nice. Bringing the body forward. Now we're no longer sitting against the back of the chair. Same practice. This time imagining the waistband of the pants pressing into the back of the chair. Big breath in. Big breath out. Good. All of those pieces pressing through the feet, strong through the belly. Big breath in. Big breath out. Good. We'll add a little bit of movement to it. Inhale, leading with the thumbs all the way up. Exhale, wiggling those fingers on the way back down. Good. Big breath in, strong through the belly. And wiggling those fingers on the way back down. One more time. Big breath in. Big breath out. Good. We'll add in just a little bit of gentle flow, keeping that lower body nice and strong and engaged. If you notice those knees creeping together or creeping out, just give them a little more attention, pressing through all four corners of the feet, relaxing those arms to the sides. Good. Big breath in, sweeping those arms up. we exhale, opening the arms to the right, flowing back down. Good. Big breath in, lifting up, opening to the left, flowing back down. Good. Big breath in, strong through the belly, open through the heart. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time each side, maybe allowing the eyes to close. Good. Taking those arms forward, we're going to take the left hand and clasp the right wrist gently. Good. And lengthen those arms toward the ceiling. Again, for some of us, we may be here. For others, we may be here. Relax those shoulders. Good. On the in-breath, lengthening through the arms and beginning to gently stretch toward the left. Holding this as we breathe. Pressing gently through the right foot for a little more length through the torso. Good. One more big breath in, reaching up and taking some wrist circles all the way down. Good. Bringing those arms forward, taking that right hand, clasping the left wrist. Good. Before we lift those arms, once more checking in with the abdominal muscles. Big breath in. Good. Give that arm just a little pull here as we stretch to the right. Good. Continuing to breathe, pressing gently through that left foot. Good. Back to center. Wrist circles the opposite way. All the way down. Good. We're going to widen that stance just a little bit here. Taking our right leg and bringing it as far to the right as is comfortable. Again, our shapes all look different, and that's the beauty of the home practice, is you can just give it a try. My right toes are pointed out. I'm going to begin to rotate my body, holding onto the chair with my right hand and lengthening my left leg. Now again, this may be a little shorter for some, a little longer for others, but what we want is active pressure through the ball of the foot, lengthening that hip flexor, and a nice strong front leg, pressing through that right foot. Good. Working our way up, strong through the belly, and then gently extending those arms toward the ceiling, lifting the gaze. Good. Almost as if we're holding a big beach ball here. And one more nice inhalation here. As we exhale, floating the hands down, holding onto that chair with the right hand, taking that left arm forward. Good. Again, checking in with those abdominal muscles. Big breath in, opening that left arm, following it with your gaze. Big stretch through the chest. And again, this may be a little bit lower. Whatever feels good for your body. And gently closing that arm back down. Good. Then we'll walk it around to the other side, taking that left foot, pointing it toward the left wall, holding onto the chair with the left hand, and then gently placing the ball of the right foot on the floor, actively pressing through that foot, nice and strong through the front leg. Continuing to hold on to that chair, or inhaling both arms up, lifting the gaze, breathing here. One more nice inhalation. And exhaling the hands back down, holding onto the chair, big breath in, sweeping the arm forward, and then opening it up, big chest stretch, following it with your gaze. Breathing here. And gently closing that arm and floating the hands down. Good. Walking the feet in. going to come up to a standing position. If you're using your chair, bring that chair in front, okay, for a little handheld support. If you don't need that chair, then you can leave it right behind you. We're going to take our nice neutral stance here, feet hip-width apart, and just taking a moment to feel your mountain pose. So again, wiggling those toes nice and light, pressing through the inner and outer toe mounds, all four corners, and then relaxing the toes down. Good, working your way up, strong through the belly, open through the heart, tucking the chin in just a little bit, and then gently allowing the eyes to close. Returning to your breath, using the other senses, staying here or beginning that slow rotation, first to the right pinky toe, over to the left pinky toe, back to the left heel, over to the right. Notice as you move slowly that strength in the abdominal muscle. A little bit of wiggling here. Good, relax the face, and we'll change directions. Good, and back to center. Very nice. All right, we're going to keep our body nice and loose here. Loose through the shoulders and the arms, strong through our belly, and some nice movement through our knees. We'll do the same rotation that we did in seated. Good. Big breath in, sweeping those arms up. Exhale, opening to the side. Big breath in, sweeping up, opening to the left. Good. As you move, keeping those hips pointed forward, strong through the belly. Inhale up. Exhale. We'll go through that one more time, maybe allowing the eyes to close. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. And back to center. Opening those arms out to the sides, taking them just a little bit beyond your peripheral vision. They may be a little bit lower. Find what feels comfortable here. Then allowing the hands to float down to the back, stacking the palms at the small of the back. And gently rolling the shoulders a little, relaxing them back. You're going to settle into that left foot, slowly coming into a single leg stand. We'll begin by just lifting the heel. On the in-breath, peeling that right heel from the floor. Good. Exhaling it back down. As you move, noticing if that left hip starts to shift out. You want to keep it all in, actively pressing that left foot into the floor, keeping the belly strong. Big breath in. Big breath out. Good. Continuing with this movement, or maybe lifting the foot just a little bit more. Exhale. One more time, maybe a little higher. Exhale. And last time. Exhale. Good. Releasing the arms, shaking it all out a little bit. Once more, sweeping the arms forward, opening out to the sides. Big stretch here through the chest. As we exhale, floating the hands behind the back once more, relaxing the shoulders. Settling into that right foot. Again, active through the foot. Slowly peeling the left heel from the floor. Big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale. Maybe lifting it a little bit higher. Exhale. And once more, big breath in. Exhale. Good. the arms down. This time we're gonna bring those feet as close together as we can. This starts to narrow our base of support, give us a little bit more challenge, but we still wanna keep those two toes wiggling. And we're gonna start to zip those inner thighs together, keeping the belly nice and strong. Bringing those arms forward, we'll take our left hand and clasp the right wrist. Good. Before we move again, strong through the belly, big breath in here. Good. Inhale, giving that arm just a little tug, and then beginning to stretch to the left. As we hold here, shifting the weight just a little bit to that right foot, feeling more length in the torso. Staying with the breath. And inhaling back up, taking some big wrist circles back down. Good. If this is getting to be too much, you can always widen those feet a little bit more. Otherwise, staying together, continuing to press down and zip up, bringing those arms forward. This time our right hand is going to clasp that left wrist. Good. Big breath in, lifting up. Another inhalation, extending just a little bit more and then stretching to the right. Good. Feeling that length from the wrist to the shoulder to the hip to the ankle. Shifting the weight slightly to that left foot. Breathing here. And back to center. Wrist circles the other direction, all the way down. Good. One more time, opening those arms out to the sides. And this time bringing both hands to the left hip. Again, at any time, you can step those feet out a little bit more, otherwise keeping them together for a little more challenge. Keeping the points of the hips facing forward, and maybe even looking over that left shoulder. Staying here or on the in-breath, peeling the heels from the floor. Exhaling them back down. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Good. I love the wiggle. Sweeping the arms up, bringing both hands to the right hip, continuing to squeeze the inner thighs together, relax that back shoulder, and begin to take that gaze toward the back of the room. On the in-breath, peeling the heels up, exhaling them down, inhaling them up, exhale down. One more time, big breath in, big breath out. Good, releasing those arms, reaching them up. This time, flicking them out as we bring them down. Good. Without looking at those feet, step them out a little bit. We're gonna come back to our chair. We'll prepare for our Utkatasana shape, our chair shape. Good. We're gonna start with those hands together, crossing the thumbs just a little bit here. Good. As we inhale, sweeping the arms up, squeezing the belly and buttocks. Exhale, sitting back to that chair, lowering the arms to the right side. Inhale, lifting them up. Exhale, lowering them to the left side. Light through the toes. Big breath in. Strong belly. Exhale. Squeezing those knees together. Exhale. And last time, lifting the arms up, releasing the hands. And exhale, sweeping the arms back, holding here. Staying with the breath, relaxing the face. Good. One more nice big inhalation. And gently settling back into the chair. Good. Keeping that nice strong stance. This time we're going to walk those feet together, squeezing the knees and the ankles together. Again, noticing how that eases some of the work here by bringing all of it together. Good. We're going to do a little bit of archery, adding some twist. So again, as we rotate through the torso, all of that movement is from the belly button up. Our lower body is our strength. Good. Sweeping those arms forward. With this right hand, we're going to grab the arrow, squeeze it back as we squeeze the shoulder blades together, and turn to the right. Exhale, release the arrow, and bring the hand back to center. Good. Changing sides, squeezing that arrow, pulling it back. Exhale, releasing back to center. Good. Take your time, strong through the belly, as big of a rotation as you can get. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more time. Good. Relaxing those arms down. We're going to walk those legs out just a little bit here. Again, first taking my right leg as wide as I can, pressing through the lateral border of the foot, so my pinky toe side of my foot. And then I'm going to walk my left leg out. So if in our standing practice, these are our warrior two legs, pointing those hips forward. In some ways, it's actually easier to see the form here in the chair. Good. Keeping that hip forward. And we're rotating the external rotators here. They're coming under, so nice and strong contraction here. Good. And the right knee lining up over the right toes. Good. When you're ready, opening those arms wide, strong through the belly, and then beginning to gently turn the gaze over the right middle finger. Breathing here. Reaching actively through those hands. And gently dropping the left hand to the back of the thigh, reaching the right arm up, coming into our reverse warrior. This hand is very light, just using those abdominal muscles. And floating the right forearm down to the thigh, sweeping that left arm up. This one we did on Tuesday, maybe coming all the way over. Big side angle stretch, pressing through that left foot. And we'll start to flow between those two shapes. Big breath in, coming to our reverse warrior. Big breath out, side angle stretch. Taking your time, moving with your breath. Feeling those abdominal muscles, supporting your pose. One more time, big breath in. Big breath out. And back to center. Relaxing the arms to the sides, we'll start to walk those legs in. And then we'll take that left foot out to the side. So again, 90-degree angle or more with that foot here. We're trying not to keep the toes in close to the chair. We want to be able to plant our whole foot. And then we're going to straighten our right leg. And again, for some of us, we may be getting there. Okay, so choose your shape. Good, pressing through the right border of the foot, strong through the belly, and then reaching in opposite directions. Turning the gaze over the left middle finger. Good, actively using the feet here. And reversing our warrior, dropping that right arm, lifting the left. And I'm nice and light through my right hand. Lowering the left forearm to the thigh, sweeping the right arm first to the ceiling, and then over next to the ear. Pressing through that right foot, taking the left thumb behind me. Flowing between those two shapes, big breath in. Big breath out. Good, you can do this a little bit smaller if you like. Most important thing, staying with that breath and enjoying the big space you're taking up. And once more, returning to our warrior two, and then floating those hands down. Good, walking those legs back in. Shake them out a little bit. All right, once more, coming up to a standing position. Bringing the hands to the hips. Gonna settle into that left foot a little bit, lifting and spreading the toes wide. And then bringing our right foot to the inside of the ankle. So creating a little kickstand here with my foot. My right knee beginning to gently rotate out. This is all nice and stretched out because of what we just did in the chair. Staying here for your tree shape, or maybe bringing that foot up the lower leg, maybe even bringing it all the way up to the inner thigh. Choosing your shape here, finding your comfort, a little bit of challenge, but nice and safe. Squeezing those legs together. When you're ready, growing your tree, taking up lots of space, breathing. And gently floating the hands back down. With control, stepping that foot out. Walking it out a little bit. Good. Settling into the right foot, lifting and spreading the toes. Strong through the belly. Actively rooting into the floor. This time bringing the left heel to the inside of the right ankle. Rotating that left hip out. Again, staying here or maybe sliding that foot up the leg. Pressing the legs into each other. When you're ready, growing your tree. Good. Breathing here. Watching where the mind goes during your balance practice. And gently lowering the hands back to the hips. With control, stepping that left foot out and walking the legs out a little bit. Good. Keeping the hands on the hips or the hands on the chair. We're going to heel toe those feet out. Just a little bit wider than the legs of the chair with the toes pointed out, heels pointed in. Pressing through the lateral borders of the feet once more. We're going to start by squeezing those legs straight. Releasing the arms out to the sides, really stretching in 4 directions, taking up as much space as you can. And then gently coming into our goddess shape, bending those knees, opening those arms nice and wide, wiggling the toes. Moving between those 2 shapes, big breath in, lengthening here. Big breath out, sinking into our goddess. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Last time. Opening those arms up. This time dropping the hands behind the body, interlacing the fingers. Giving those hands a little bit of squeeze here. If this is uncomfortable, stacking the hands at the low back. If this feels okay, beginning to gently lengthen those arms. Always keeping a little bit of bend in the elbows. And again, relaxing those shoulders back. If you notice this sensation happening here, maybe just stack those hands at the low back. All right, on the in-breath, gently peeling the heels from the floor and exhaling them down. One more time, big breath in, big breath out. Good, last time, big breath in, big breath out. Good, bringing the hands to the hips and heel toeing the feet back in. We'll come back to our chairs, and you can come right into a seated position. stay forward here. Nice strong stance. We'll come into our deep forward bend, beginning first with a nice inhalation. And exhale, folding forward. Good, pressing through those feet, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, floating the hands down. Big breath here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Bringing those feet a little closer together. We're going to place the right heel on the floor, keeping that right foot as active as possible. Good. Positioning our hips nice and tall, open through the heart, and we'll start to gently hinge forward. Staying here or taking the right fingertips to the toes and wrapping that left arm around the back as we turn our gaze to the left. So as we hold here, notice what's happening with this left foot, and again, pressing into the floor. And gently returning up, changing sides. Nice and tall. Long through the spine, open through the heart, hinging forward. Staying here or bringing the left fingertips to the toes. Staying here or wrapping that right arm behind the back and turning the gaze to the right, pressing through my right foot. And lifting back up, stepping it back. Good, taking that right foot, placing it on top of the left knee, coming into our seated pigeon pose, nice and tall. Maybe adding a little bit of overpressure here. Maybe beginning to hinge forward. Again, continuing to press into the floor with that left foot, tucking the chin in just a little bit. And lifting back up. Good. Taking that right foot in some big circles. Changing direction. Pointing and flexing that foot. Good. And changing sides. Seated pigeon on the opposite side. Left foot continues to remain active. Maybe a little overpressure through this left hand. Nice and tall through the spine. Hinging forward. Tucking the chin in just a little bit. And gently lifting back up. Taking that ankle in some big circles. Changing direction. And pointing and flexing the foot. Good. Taking those feet down again. All right, this is the part of the class where we come down to the floor. If you have done that before, go for it. If you haven't done that before but you'd like to try, make sure you have that sturdy chair that doesn't move or roll, okay? You can also try these movements on your bed as well for a first try. So, to come down to the floor, I'm positioning myself this way. I would encourage you to do that too in case you have to take a peek at the television. I don't want you to overextend your neck. All right? So, chair's on the right. We're going to widen our stance just a little bit here and reach down for the chair. And then slowly start to come down to my right knee. Good. I'm going to bring my other knee down to the floor and then all the way down to my hands and knees. Coming into our tabletop position here, actively pressing my feet into the floor. If it's more comfortable to have the toes curled under, that's fine too. Good. pressing through the pads of the fingers, keeping those fingers spread nice and wide. Good. We're going to come through our cat and cow movements next without the head at first, just using the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. Taking a big breath here. As we exhale, tucking the pelvis under and pressing through the hands as we spread the shoulder blades. Good. Inhale, dropping the belly, tilting the pelvis and opening through the chest. Now I'm beginning to pull the mat toward me. Good. Exhale, pressing the mat away from me, rounding through the back. Inhale, pulling the mat toward me as I open through the heart. Good. Beginning to add some cervical movement here, tucking the chin. And inhale, lifting the head just to our neutral position here. Good. Exhale, round. And inhale, arch. Good. Returning to a neutral position. So again, I continue to actively press into the floor, keeping my stomach strong. Lowering my elbows to the position where my hands are right now. Coming down onto the forearms, keeping my fingers spread wide, my arms parallel to each other, and beginning to gently walk my knees back, coming into a big shoulder stretch. So for some of us, we're staying right here. For others, maybe tucking the chin in. Breathing here. Gently walking back in and coming back to our hands and knees. Settling into all four limbs, keeping that cup of tea balanced at the base of the tailbone. I'm going to take my right hand and place it on my, taking my left hand, placing it on my left shoulder. Good. On the in-breath, lifting the left elbow up toward the ceiling, strong belly. Exhale, bringing the left elbow to the right elbow. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Good. One more time. Big breath in. Exhale, elbow to elbow. And gently releasing the left hand to the floor. Taking that right hand to the right shoulder. On the in-breath, strong through the belly, lifting the right elbow toward the ceiling. Exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Nice breath in. Nice breath out. Good. Releasing that hand to the floor, taking the knees, the width of the mat, big toes together, and shifting the hips back to the heels, coming down to the forearms, maybe lengthening those arms, and coming down to the forehead, choosing your shape, tucking the chin in, stretching to the back of the neck. If your forehead is on the floor, just moving the head a little side to side. And gently coming up onto the forearms once more. Lifting to our table with our arms continuing to press through the forearms. Again, noticing that cup of tea on the lower back and taking a few cat and camel shapes here. So now we're sort of isolating this to the lower vertebrae. Just feeling that pelvic movement, engaging the belly. And then finding your neutral spot where that tailbone is wrapped underneath. Strong through the stomach, shifting to the left knee, on the in-breath, taking that right leg straight back. Exhale, returning it to the floor. Inhale, taking the left leg. Exhale, returning it to the floor. Trying to balance that weight between those forearms. Keep the belly strong and stay with the breath. One more time each side. Big inhalation. Slow exhalation. Big inhalation. Slow exhalation. Good. Gently coming back up to the hands. We're going to slowly lower to one hip and then come all the way onto our bottoms in a seated position here. Keeping those knees bent, feet pressing into the floor. Noticing where you're balancing here. Again, resisting the urge to sort of round back onto the sacrum. We're going to engage through the belly and stay lifted here. Good. All right, gently releasing the hands to the back of the thighs. We'll begin to slowly recline through the upper body until you feel those stomach muscles kicking in. Staying here or extending those arms. Again, rotating the hands toward the ceiling to keep the chest open. Staying here or maybe lifting those legs. Breathing, relaxing through the face. One more nice inhalation. And gently lowering the feet down, coming through our cat and cow movements here. Good. We'll do that one more time. Again, beginning with the hands holding on to the backs of the thighs, or this time, bringing the palms together and placing those thumbs at the center of the heart. Once more, lifting that heart into the thumbs, beginning to recline back. Breathing here, maybe lifting the legs, squeezing the knees and feet together. Good. Staying here and breathing, or taking a little bit of rotation. Holding, staying with the breath, relaxing the face. Good. One more time. Good. Gently holding onto those legs, lowering them back down. And again, coming through our cat and cow shapes. Slowly bringing the hands behind the body. We're going to lower down onto the forearms and then all the way down to the mat. Hugging both knees into the chest. Giving yourself a big squeeze here. If you can, relaxing the shoulders and taking a little bit of rotation side to side. Good. Taking one hand on top of the one knee and the other hand on top of the other knee. We're going to roll those legs. Again, the joints love rotational movements. Big circles in opposite directions. And taking them, changing direction. Good. Hugging those knees into the chest once more. And gently floating the legs back down. Good. Taking that right leg and extending it out. You can also keep that right heel on the floor if you'd like, or just hovering it above the mat. We're going to come into a few bridges here. So again, checking in briefly with the waistband of the pants, noticing where it's pressing into the floor and how that gives us that cue to engage those abdominal muscles and scoop the belly. We're going to scoop the belly first, lifting the leg. Good. Then on the in-breath, peeling those hips from the floor and exhaling back down. Good. Noticing if that left leg starts to come out or creep in, and again, we're going to actively press that left foot into the floor. So again, strong belly, big breath in, big breath out. One more time, big breath in, big breath out. And gently bringing that foot back to the floor. You can always come into our traditional bridge, completing them here with both feet on the floor. Coming to the other side, extending that left leg, scooping the belly, big breath in, big breath out. Pressing through the right foot, inhale, exhale. One more time, inhale, exhale. Good, hugging those knees into the chest once more, little bit of rocking. And then we will finish up today with our final relaxation pose, our Shavasana. If it's uncomfortable to lie on your back flat on the floor, walk those feet out to the edges of the mat, letting the knees come together. This brings the pelvis into a neutral position. Otherwise, straightening those legs, taking them the width of the mat, maybe even a little wider. Let those toes splay out. Turning the palms up toward the ceiling, and then gently sliding the shoulder blades under the back, tucking the chin just a little. Taking a nice inhalation here. As you exhale, allowing the eyes to close and allowing the body to sink. We'll stay here for a few moments. I highly encourage you to come back to this after we're finished. As I mentioned before, a daily practice of Shavasana is a wonderful thing. Even if all you do is lay on the floor, just like this, and breathe. 5 minutes a day. And wiggling the toes and fingers, gently moving the head from side to side. If it's comfortable for your body, coming into that big X, spreading the fingers and toes, taking up lots of space. Today is a beautiful sunny day here in Maryland, so imagine that sun, that bright spring sun right above your belly. As you breathe in, feel its heat, feel its glow, feel its light. And again, you can continue to stay right here, or if you're ready to get up, we'll slowly bend the knees, bring the arms in, rolling towards your chair. We're going to use the right hand and the left arm to come up to a half seat, bring my hand to the chair, and come to a high kneeling position. Bending one knee and placing one foot on the floor, shifting forward, coming right back to my chair. Good, easy peasy. All right, bring yourself back to your royal posture, body pressed all the way back against the back of the chair, open through the heart, relax through the shoulders, tuck the chin in just a little bit. Allow the eyes to close. Place one hand over the heart and the other hand on top of that. Return to your breath. And again, returning to our inhalation, peace. Exhalation, love. Just noticing that technique as a way to connect with every person. Finding something every person needs beings be happy, weak or strong, small or great, seen or unseen, nearby or far away. May all beings be entirely happy. Bringing the palms of the hands together at the heart, bowing to the sacred in each other. Namaste.